Welcome to Touched and Empowered, a show created to empower individuals to value their lives by hosting think tank discussions that will inspire positive action. Touched and Empowered with Katie and Ace starts now.
Welcome to another episode of Touched and Empowered with yours truly, myself, Katie, and Ace. And the topic today is brought to you by the song Note A.
If anybody really does want to check if that was an A, you would like a...
I have no idea. It was just the first note that popped into my head.
If I'm on, in tune, just let me know if it is an A. That's so cool.
That would be kind of cool if I actually got that right. That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. The idea of it's okay to have what you want.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of, I was talking to somebody recently. As you can tell, I have a lot of conversations. Let me give you some backstory on that, why I have a lot of conversations. So in my DISC assessment, this is a communication assessment that you can take, and essentially you answer 15, a series of questions in 15 minutes, right?
Oh, timed assessments.
Yeah, timed assessment. Once you do it in 15 minutes, then they give an entire assessment that's 30 pages of you, of like who you are, what you do, how you communicate to others, how you should communicate to others, how you might not communicate to others, and it might freaking suck for them. Stuff like that, just like things of that nature.
That sounds exhausting.
It was really helpful. It was like a leadership assessment, essentially trying to figure out what types of communicators there are and how you can help support each other based off of your assessment.
Based on your strengths. Makes sense.
Yes. So with that being said, like what I naturally am gifted at is being able to inspire. But there's like kind of one of these caveats. It kind of had an asterisk, like a really like strong do not put this person by themselves. Do not put them in isolation. It's not going to help them. They need to talk to at least 3 people a day. Like that was like the note.
Wow.
That's part of how I fill my cup. So I have to have 3 engaging conversations with people every day in order for me to feel okay. That's why I talk to people a lot.
Well, it's great that you were given that insight.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if nothing else, you have very interesting conversations because heaven knows you and I do all the time.
Exactly. That's why I can have more fun conversations with you. But like, it was really funny because essentially when I had this conversation about it's okay to have what you want.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually talking to a financial advisor. There's a bunch of them out there right now, right? There you can work with somebody from WFG, you can work with somebody else from some other type of company, whatnot. But essentially they advise you on how to best invest your money. Do you put it in an annuity? Do you take what you have now and you spend it here? Or should we assess how you've been like either spending, investing money, right?
Right.
Great. So before this person started his own business doing this type of stuff, he actually had to break out of old mindsets, like limiting beliefs, in order for him to be the best advisor he could be in financial standing, right?
That makes sense.
Yeah. So one of the beliefs that he really needed to break out of was this disbelief or this guilt of getting what he wanted.
I can relate to that.
It's very common. So it's like, it's okay to have what you want. The moment you feel guilty for receiving something that you wanted, like, am I being materialistic because I wanted that? Then you feel bad versus, I really wanted that item. And, it makes me feel good. It actually contributes to my life in a way that helps me contribute more to others. That is cool. You're allowed to have what you want. if what you want may not be good for you, like I'm not saying I want, like, I'm not saying you want to utilize substances that might not be that might not be okay to get what you want on that one. But
okay, but for example, here's another example. I wanted to go to Egypt.
there you go.
Okay, I made that happen. There was a tiny part of me that was arguing with guilt because I was leaving the country. But the amount of reward, spiritual and healing and mental reward that I'd gotten from that trip, I've been told that I am more myself since I've been back from that trip than I was before I left.
I love that.
You know, and if I can do that with Egypt, fantastic. I can't wait to go on my next big trip. But if I can do that with something smaller, like building Legos, I'm okay with that too.
See, I wanted to spend 2 weeks at home with my family, or just my hometown, and actually see people I haven't seen in a long time. I wanted to spend quality time with the people that I grew up with for 2 weeks.
Very nice.
Thank you. And I did it. I wanted it. Did I feel guilty for it? Sometimes, yeah. When
Yeah.
people, you know, like when people were like, "Hey, I need you for X, Y, and Z. Hey, I need you for this," and I'm like, "I told you I can't be there. It's my father's birthday today." Like, you know, things like that. um, that understanding that, like, if I didn't take that trip, I wouldn't have come back with so many ideas for us.
Right.
I needed that.
Yeah. Because we do need that break
Mhm.
from the day-to-day, the everyday, the every week, the every month. And I mean, it's one of these things. One of my mentors actually has a 17-week lifestyle. He works for 15 weeks and takes 2 weeks off. He works for 15 weeks and takes 2 weeks off.
Yeah, I actually want to do that more often.
And I'm like, you know what? That is really cool. I don't know if that'll work for me or not because I'm still trying to figure all of this stuff out. But the fact that he was able to set that kind of reward system in one aspect, you know, work hard for 15 weeks and then you get 2 weeks off. Back in my corporate job, if I had that, I would have been happy to bust tail for 15 weeks to get 2 weeks off in a row.
Yeah, it's also very healthy. So the thing is, vacations really are important. They're just as important as the work week. When you take your vacations and you take your rest time, you actually have a better chance of performing better when you're at work.
And there is a difference between taking time off and going somewhere and this whole staycation. Yeah, no, staycations don't help much because you're busy doing everything around the house that you have been putting off.
Yeah.
And you're not having any fun. You're not having any relaxation. You're not having any creativity time. You're not having any human connection time.
Exactly. And sometimes, all right, so I get the staycation. I do. I understand it. You can see all of the thoughts going in my head right now. Katie, you can see all of that. I do. I get it.
Yes, and.
Yes, and.
Yeah, yes, and.
That's called a personal day. You need to take care of your stuff. That's called a personal day. Like that, in my opinion, when you need to take care of your personal care, you are allowed to have 1 or 2 personal days, either like a week. That's my opinion. Then again, I created my schedule in a very different way. So I don't do the normal 9 to 5 because it was like, when I did it, it was bad for me.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't smiling ever. Ever. And then there was the idea of having 2 days off a week that weren't just the weekend. Because the thing is, I actually do a lot on the weekend that I probably don't get, that I don't really get paid for. But I still do a lot on the weekend, and it's more community-based stuff. Right. So I need a day to myself. So my Mondays, I actually take off. You know, the day where everybody dreads, that's the day that I take off.
And that's smart.
For that reason. The other days that I try to take off, it's either a Saturday or a Sunday, depending on how the day is going. Mainly Mondays are the exception because everyone else is busy on Mondays, so they don't like need me to talk to them on Monday.
Right.
Like, yeah, and our podcast already drops on Monday, so we're still doing regardless. But it is really important to rest, and it is okay and 100% totally okay to have what you want when it comes to being rest assured.
Yes, and it is much healthier for you to take that day of rest, once a week, once every other week, than going weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks to where you're sick in bed for like 2 to 3 weeks straight.
Yeah, it's not.
That's not fun.
Yeah, I used to do that. I was never like a good year. I was just not healthy. I was just always with like some type of cold, something. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, I used to blame it. Oh, it's allergies. It's just the sinus infection I get every year. Oh, it's just laryngitis. Yeah, no, it was my body telling me that it was time to stop and do nothing
per day
and sleep and take care of me.
Yes, because you need it. And then, all right, with every new level of wisdom, your body kind of in your mind does this OS upgrade thing where it like has to update. It's the most hilarious thing because you're like once you receive new information, especially if you're in like college or whatnot, yes, you're studying really hard and eventually you're just going to sleep for a week. But the thing is, like, you're inputting new information and your mind has to update and upgrade, right, just like a computer does. We made them, right? So of course they're going to be like us. So
exactly. Of course, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So yeah, that's another thing. So it is okay to, if you want rest, please rest. Now let's talk about materialistic things. So there was this thing that I actually, I love vintage picking and I also love designer resale. And I think it's one of the most sustainable ways to have a good fashion sense, right?
Makes sense.
Especially when you have a really expensive taste.
Yes.
And I get that. I have done really well in understanding how to sustainably buy my fashion. For instance, this is a Jimmy Choo shoe.
Gorgeous. I would probably kill myself wearing it.
I wore this to a red carpet event.
Oh, is that the one that you wore to the one in LA that you were telling me about a couple weeks ago?
LA Style magazine.
Yes.
Yeah, award ceremony, which I think is incredible. If you get a chance, ladies and gentlemen, to look up Trisha Love, she is the CEO of LA Style magazine. And she has repurposed the function of LA Style magazine to be more humanistic and sustainable. Very, very incredible job. That award ceremony, I've never cried so much in my life. It was amazing. Right?
Awesome.
Thank you. So these are $1,200 shoes.
Is that a diamond hanging off the back of that?
Chandelier heel. So this is actually, if you go on their Instagram, all their reels right now.
Okay, I get it.
So I wore this. Thank you. I wore this on the red carpet after a stylist recommended it. And the way that I paid for these shoes was because I knew the CEO of the event, and I also knew that there were going to be high quality networking relationships at that event. And I could bridge the introductions to the person who paid for my ticket.
Ah, yes.
Because their company gives them a budget to entertain clients.
Ah.
So that they can network for more clients and clients that can pay them. This is one of those events, $1,500 to get a ticket to get to this event. So very much so, their clients can pay them.
Makes sense.
Right. So this shoe was a gift because I was networking with this person who is actually my CPA. I was networking with my CPA to help bridge him over to new potential clients that can pay him. Therefore, here is my reward. I love shoes.
I love how that works because it's a combination of using your skills and your connections and getting what you want without you having to fork over a credit card.
Yeah, that I don't have for that. So it's really important. So a lot of people, when they think about money, this is something that I want to share and to be helpful. If you think of money as a resource, it's kind of one of those mind-boggling moments where it's the same resource equivalent to food. It's the same resource equivalent to
Water,
water, etc. It is a resource. Therefore, everything is tradable with that resource, right? I can leverage a very quality network to somebody of a quality caliber, thankfully, to have business relationships with the intention of collaboration. That is great. High quality people, that's where the money goes up. Technically speaking, so my CPA, he basically paid for a month's worth of my transformational coaching with these shoes. With these shoes, with the compensation to help bridge the resources needed to get to the event, right?
Right.
And that's perfect. That is actually how I've created most of the deals. I don't see just the money or the fame aspect. I'm actually looking into seeing what value are we bringing? What are we doing to help people? What are we doing to expand somebody else's life?
Because we all have something that we can do for somebody else. That even though we might not see a lot of value in it, someone else sees tremendous value in it.
Exactly. And to be very fair, with that being said, it's okay to have what you want when that's happening.
Yes, you can have what you want and use the tools and the knowledge that you have, because you can be very creative in finding ways to get what you want.
Especially with the skills that you already have. Some people don't, like what, Katie, you naturally can do, I can't. And that's that is actually the biggest value. The fact of the matter is, like, it's okay that that's the case,
right?
It is more important that you can contribute that, and that actually brings your value up so much.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, because it's and for you too, honey, because for the longest time it was trading my time for dollars.
We've all done.
We've all had some kind of job where we've traded our time for dollars, but it's more learning that I can trade my time for treasure, and that treasure could be an item, that treasure could be money, that treasure could be my time. I might work hard now, so then that way I have 4 days off and not have to worry about my email. So it's learning the trade and the value of our talent, our treasure, and our time.
Yeah, exactly. And it does, if you're, in my opinion, if you're doing something big in this world, air quotes big could actually be, honestly, big could be helping your neighbor get down the stairs. Sometimes you need some help. I'm 5'2". I need help helping someone like that. It's just like, I'm tiny. Right. Fine. But understanding that, like, that's okay. Like, I want to mention to people, like, because there's this egotistical idea that you have to be everything, or you have to do this, or like somebody might take your job if you have the same set of skills. I'm like, no one can do the same thing that you can do in the way that you do it.
Because everyone learns differently.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone processes differently. Mm-hmm. I mean, everyone responds differently.
Yeah. And All right. I remember this one time Katie and I went into this meeting where I honestly thought we were going to hit a war zone if I went in by myself. I know that. There was a part of my where it's like, okay, I should not go in there by myself. Otherwise, I'm going to get a dragon to just bring fire upon people. I'm not going to do that. I don't know. Katie was a perfect person to bring into this meeting, and we harmoniously had a good dialogue where she had the perspective that I didn't, that she could provide. And then I could provide the gap for the other.
And it just happened, worked out beautifully in that unexpected meeting that I was in. And it helped
get us to get what we want.
It got us what we wanted. It allowed us to clarify the outcome that we were looking for in a way that could not have been interpreted as rude.
Yeah, she helped me a lot in that one.
Because, and when you're talking about your passion, especially when it comes around the passion to end suicide, there are so many people who unfortunately want to push the pain points when it comes to bringing awareness to suicide. But that's not what we do.
Yeah,
we help bring up the positivity level of the planet. So then that way you don't fall into hopelessness and despair.
Exactly.
And being able to have that kind of conversation to express that without stepping on anyone's toes, I think helped a lot with blending your communication skills and me just being me.
I was being me for sure with my communication skills as well, but I understand what you mean. Thank you.
Because I can't articulate everything as well as you do, because you've had all of this communication skills and practice and training and everything. Okay, maybe I do, but from my limiting belief, Katie has a high school education, therefore she cannot articulate like somebody who's gone to college. Yeah, I know that's a limiting belief. It's going out the door.
Thank you. Please do.
Yeah, bye-bye. It's gone.
Yep. I know a lot of people who are doing decently well without a college education.
Yeah, gone. Okay.
Although if you have one, congratulations.
Yes. But everyone follows their own path for a reason.
Yes.
And where you are right now is because of the empowering decisions and choices that you made, given the circumstances that you were in. So the fact that you've made it this far is amazing.
Yes. And the thing is, so look, a gift is a gift. In my opinion, it's always valuable because you can actually help somebody in a way that you could probably save their life, no matter what that gift is. So my gift is pretty much direct, honest, blunt. I'm very good at delegating. I can listen. I can listen. But
you do.
Thank you. I do have very specific gifts that work with a specific set of people.
You are a great connector.
Thank you.
You help connect people to other places or to other people they need to know.
Thank you. There is a subset of people that my communication skills won't hit with.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I understand that. So there are other people that have the same mission that I do, as Katie and I do. And with that, their communication skills can reach that audience. And I'm totally okay with that.
Right.
That means we're on the same team and we're fulfilling the same mission. And that's important. That's all we need to do together. And I'm happy to be the funny person in the corner that's honest and blunt. It's cool.
You can be the honest, blunt, sophisticated one, and I'll be the random nut with the unicorn horn. I'm good with that too. all in good fun, because we have to have fun with what it is that we're doing. Because if you want to have a more positive outlook on life, if you want to have more positivity in your world, start with a smile.
Brilliant. There, yeah.
So that's my tidbit for the day. I'm done.
I love it. Thank you so much. So great. Yes, smiling is actually, even if you look crazy, it does uplift your life.
It does kind of lift you up a little bit, and even if you want to just practice doing that crazy Joker smile in the mirror or whatever, you'll crack yourself up laughing, and that just lightens your heart and it lightens your day, and then that puts you in the open mindset to where you can find ways to get what you want.
There you go. And it's okay to have what you want.
Yes, it is very much okay to have what you want.
Yeah, that's good for you. I didn't realize, I was like, oh wait, hold on. We should be clear about what you want and like the purpose of it too. But it is okay to, like, for instance, when I wear those shoes, I feel elevated because it is actually something I appreciate. I appreciate a good shoe. Are good shoes $1,800 sometimes? Yes, but we talked about this. The fact of the matter is, another thing that you can also add for anyone who understands fashion, there is this thing called vintage selling. And
Right.
yeah, after 10 years of holding an incredibly well-designed item, it's like a stock. 10 years later, that thing goes up in $1,000. There are so many things in my closet that I'm just waiting for that to turn into 20 grand.
And it's going to happen because
Yes.
we have seen how fashion recycles every couple of decades.
Oh yeah. And how it appreciates,
Yes.
just as we appreciate you. So please continue to do your best. Allow yourself to receive what you want, and keep elevating, uplifting. We love you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a wonderful rest of the week.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for joining us. We hope that the discussion today will inspire you to take positive action in your life. Until next week, be empowered.